All right, so tonight we have Huong, who's running for the positions of treasurer, logistics, and historian. So you have 5 minutes for your first speech, and just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'll start. Social psychologist Carl Rogers believed that true self-actualization and happiness comes from the people around you. And as a renowned college therapist, he guided people to find their place, a community that gave them positive regard in life. As a freshman, I found supportive upperclassmen to voice my worries to, first-year friends to enjoy State Street with and take Gen Ed classes with, and a caring community bonded by cultural values and identity. Many people in this organization sees VSA as a true family, being there for each other through some of the most critical years of our lives. And the ability for a student club to provide that much is what I think makes VSA really special. I'm a first year planning to double major in computer science and environmental studies. I don't know about that though, but whatever. For this upcoming fall semester, I'm currently planning to take around 16 credits. I do not plan on working during the school year, but I am looking for a CNA, certified nursing assistant job for the summer and winter. And I'm involved in other student orgs, such as Wood Global Connections, ALPS, which is a venture learning program, Optima Dance, and Camp Kesem. ALPS and Camp Kesem, though, are more of a time commitment in the summer, so that allows me to dedicate myself to VSA during the semester. The executive board is the pushing force of all club activities, values, and the atmosphere, so like the vibes, you know? So a great VSA family comes from a great e-board, and I think that is such a unique opportunity to have to influence your peers. So I want to help with giving off the good vibes, the vibes that are important in building our community. On top of that, cultural awareness and issues of racial prejudice are always paramount in our society. So being more involved in VSA would allow me chances to contribute in improving racial climates in my community. I participated in the internship program both semesters this year and have gained valuable insight to not only organizing a club, but the particular dynamics of working with your peers. I think that I have an inside view on the routines of the VSA e-board, and along with my experience as marketing director for Wood Global Connections, another student org here on campus, I believe that I have the potential to work as an executive board member. um, and for the position of treasurer, I think organizing is key as a treasurer, because that's the basis for accountability and responsibility. You're in charge of all of VSA's money and you don't want to mess up those dollar bills, you know? So if I were to have this position, I would confer with the current treasurer to make sure I'm well versed with the grant process and try my best to be completely on top of the calendars, agendas, and spreadsheets that come with this position. I will organize my tasks as a treasurer since deadlines are critical in grants, and uphold good communication with other members. I've had experience with helping to manage a $10,800 budget for Wood Global Connections. That's money from the union, so I will use that experience in VSA. That's my speech.
Thank you. So I'm just gonna ask you a few questions regarding
Yeah.
the treasurer position. So what are your experiences with presentations? How comfortable are you in presenting to other students?
Um, I actually kind of like public speaking a little bit. I don't know if it's just because I like attention or something, but um, I I'm good with presentations, both like the actual physical presentations. I feel like um I have a knack for like presenting things in good vocabulary with the specific audience that we're with, and also just like making it look nice and pretty and stuff. So I think that I can um present in a very comprehensive and well understood and well spoken way.
Awesome. So grant hearings for ASM are generally on Tuesday evenings, and for the MSc are sometimes on Wednesday evenings. Would you have time, or would you be able to make time for these grant hearings?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the date?
Yeah, so they're usually for ASM, grant hearings are usually on Tuesday evenings, and then for the MSc, they're on Wednesday evenings, but I think they're a little more flexible in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like when they can hear your grant. So would you
Yeah.
be able to find time to be able to attend these?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, awesome, yeah. And then what are some ways that you plan to meet deadlines?
I think the best tool in meeting deadlines are like agendas and calendars and making use of like automated alerts and stuff. So I think I'll have a system of reminders and set, and also just keeping really on top of my calendar.
And then, how would you describe your work ethic?
I think I have a. I don't think I'm conceited to say I have a pretty good work ethic. When it's something I care about, I like to think that I invest myself in a lot in it. Even if it's something I don't care about, I still put in an adequate amount of work. But if it is something that I'm passionate about, I like to invest myself in it. And just there's nothing wrong with giving 100%. So why would you give anything less?
And then last question is your organization is running low on funds and you have a big upcoming event. Describe what your thought process would be like to deal with this situation.
Um. Uh. From well, with global connections, what we do when we're low on funds is we like to reuse everything we can, so we don't have to buy anything new. So I think my first step would just be like, okay, let's go over inventory, let's go over what we need and what we don't need. Like, is there anything that we could substitute or reuse? And then for like bigger funds that we need, like venue for like thousands of dollars and stuff, I'll probably just seek out grants, maybe ask to other orgs, ones with money, if they would like to collab or something, and maybe they can take part of the funds too.
All right, thank you, Hung. Um,
Yeah.
you're gonna get 1 minute for your next speech, and then we'll go straight into the
Okay.
Q&A after that.
All right. The next position is logistics. So I have to admit, taking on logistics kind of like leans on my weaknesses of organization a little bit, because I have to be really on top of my time management, which is something that I kind of need to work on. And working on large projects, really need to keep up with I need to really keep up with working on large projects with all the details, and also the backgrounds of club activities, like booking rooms and stuff. Like, um, that's just a lot of little things that I have to keep track of. So I think I feel like I could do it. I will try my best to hold myself accountable with a comprehensive and active agenda for VSA priorities, but I do know that's a weakness of mine, but I will try my best. I like to believe that I'm fairly good with high stress situations, like handling a catastrophe during fit. So, yeah.
All right, and then I'm gonna again ask you a few questions. So, when planning events, how would you handle a situation where many people have different suggestions that you don't necessarily agree with?
um, I think it's important to listen to all the suggestions, and also to um, knowing that you're the lead in planning it, know that your ideas are probably not always the best. Usually they're not. Like, so I think leaning on your group is much more important than just doing everything yourself. So I think listening to all the suggestions are super important, and actually consider what's best for the event, and also what's best for the large majority. Like, even if it's something you don't particularly like, it's not really your preference, or you don't think would go well, um, like, listen to the general body, I feel like. So
How will you delegate tasks when it comes to big events?
um I'll try to delegate based on ability and also trustworthiness. um just knowing from just so like knowing who's responsible and who's maybe not as responsible, try to prioritize differently, and use my team, like lean on my team. That's what makes BSA so great, is because of their exec board is so great. So
Thank you. We try. So if you could change something or improve something about Art That Celebration, what would it be?
um I would think I would make it more have a lot more Vietnamese culture elements. Like, I know we were talking about this in one e-board meeting, but I really like the idea of like a separate game room, like with the fish betting game with the die. I think we'd have that, and maybe we could do um like a Dinlan like corner. I think it's just like having cute little game booths or such, especially for the kids or for people who just, miss Vietnam and the culture, the atmosphere of that. I think I just make it a lot more Vietnam related.
All right. And how would you describe your event planning process?
Um, I think first I will take a deep breath because a large project will make me very stressed. But I'll go step by step, just every big thing, just chunk it down and just get through one thing at a time. You just gotta get through it. So I will always plan for a backup. I think that one of the only things that I think I'm actually good at is like flexibility and adaptability. So I think that's gonna be a strength for me. Um, there's always more than one way to do something. So I'm very good at substitutions, whether it be like a decoration or methodology and doing something. And I think that in my experience of running large scale events, if you have a smile and aren't freaking out, like no one else will. So you just kind of plan for the best, but things never go that way. But that's what makes it kind of fun sometimes. So yeah.
All right. And last question is, so I'm going to give you a situation where an organization has dropped out of your event at the last minute, leaving a huge gap in the show. What would you do in this situation?
Um, Karaoke is always fun. um, I know lots of mini games because yeah, I just know so many mini games. So just like any cute games, or I could just have like a socializing breaker break in the event. I don't know. I feel like there's so many ways to go about that. If we need like entertainment based stuff, like that mini game we pulled out with the Oreos was fun. I have tons more like that up my sleeve, and yeah.
All right. Thank you, Hung. And then you can just start your last speech when you're ready.
Okay. So for the position of historian, I really like to be creative and I enjoy art very much. I do dabble a little bit in Photoshop, I'm not that good though, and also video editing like Adobe Premiere or iMovie, and I know Canva really well. I've learned from our current historian when I interned for her. Oh my gosh, she's so cool. I think that I've polished my graphic design skills in the graphics I made, and from that interning experience, I saw that communication and deadlines are important. So I'll try my best to be proactive in all my projects and keep up with the demands. I recreationally sketch and paint, and I like to believe I'm not too shabby with a camera. So I really like taking photos. I would also like to promote Huong for the historian position. I think she'd be phenomenal, and her being on e-board will keep the essay in check. So yeah.
All right. And then Zoe's going to ask you a few questions regarding her position.
Yeah. So, okay, so you answered some of these, so I'll just ask, what's one new thing you would want to introduce as historian?
I think it'd be really cute to have like a photo reel at the end of the year, maybe for the seniors or maybe just like for VSA members, where like maybe for the seniors maybe it could be photos of them throughout VSA, just like collected as a whole, like a cute little clip or like a cute little slideshow or something, and give them to as like a parting gift, or just a general like here's VSA photo reel at the end of the semester.
Okay. And then, how would you describe your creative process?
Um I'm actually not that original, so I do a lot whenever there's I have to make a project. I do a lot of like looking at other people's stuff, like on Canva, look at all the templates, on Pinterest, look at like the paintings that I have in mind already, but seeing what like I could do with that. And I kind of just end up incorporating all the elements that I like. And sometimes that doesn't really work. That's why another part of my creative process is to get an outside eye to see like, hey, what do you like about this? What would you change? Because after working with graphic design or art stuff for a little bit, your eyes just kind of like blend everything together. So
Yep.
yeah.
And then finally, just what would you do in a situation where you had to make multiple graphics, in a short amount of time? Like, how would you handle that?
Um, Well, I would get help, but I'm assuming that in this situation I can't. I think I'd make the most important ones first and try to keep simplicity in check. Um, and sometimes less is more for a graphic. So sometimes when something's really simple and classy, it's prettier. So just um, try to do the best I can, prioritize the bigger projects, and keep it simple.
All right. Thanks, Helen.
Yeah.